You can have, that childlike, playful nature. We're going to be together, but also explore some forms of intimacy with other people.
This is not going to be a picnic. Curious about opening up your relationship, but also slightly terrified? You are not alone. Whether you've heard of polyamory, open relationships, or something called monogamish, the world of consensual non-monogamy can be both exciting and really overwhelming. Today, we're getting real about what it takes to explore it consciously. So I want to introduce you now to my guest. She's a co-worker of mine, Emilie.
Thank you, Margarita. It's such a pleasure to be here. So I'm also an intimacy and relationship coach. I received the Somatica training like you. I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I support visionaries and leaders to align mind, body, and soul through feeling their emotions in their body.
So we're going to dive into this conversation. But before we do that, I'm wondering if you would like some tea.
I would love that.
Love some tea, okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So when I first asked you to join me, you had mentioned that you had tried in your past polyamory, solo poly, swinging, open couple. So I'm wondering, first of all, if you could define those for us and then let us know. And then I have more questions, obviously, about that.
That's a great question. So I feel good to start with open relationship, because there are many ways that people can describe a relationship whose dynamic is not monogamous. And so a classic term would be non-monogamy. And the most popular form of non-monogamy in our culture, in a Western culture, because there is non-monogamy, there is a model that is strong, which is non-ethical. And what that means is cheating. That's a form of non-monogamy, and the form of non-monogamy that I have been practicing for most of my adult life is ethical, which means that things are open, things are transparent between participants, between partners. It means that we engage in a conversation saying that we want a relationship where we're going to be together, but also explore some forms of intimacy with other people. And that can be together and other people, and that can be separately. Like we have our relationship, we do things together as a couple, and then we go outside and we are not together, but we are with other people. So that's non-monogamy. And I was about to talk about open relationships. So open relationships, I think, is an umbrella term that says that people are allowing themselves to explore intimacy. And so intimacy can be sexuality, but it could be just having a very close relationship with someone where maybe we are sensual, we flirt, we touch each other, we kiss, but maybe there is no more than that, and maybe it's just an evening. But it doesn't have to be very elaborate. So an open relationship, it's we have an agreement that we're going to explore some form of intimacy with other people than are just the two of us. But we don't have much details about what it looks like, the agreements with people. We know that it's something that they're going to do, that the couple is going to do. They are open to the possibilities, basically. Then there is, you mentioned consensual non-monogamy. So here we add a layer, in terms of ethics, in terms of value in the relationship, where we want to do that in a consensual way. So it means that there is a higher level, I think, of intentionality in the exploration with other people. We want for that, for that dynamic to feel good for all parties, asking for consent for things, like, okay, you may be in a relationship, in a marriage, and you want to engage with other people, being intimate with other people. You want to have a conversation with your partner, with your husband, to say, okay, we want to do things well, and we want to agree on things. We want for things to be consensual. And I can imagine that you want to have those same conversations with the other people you're going to engage with outside of your relationship. Then another term which is pretty common is polyamory. You didn't mention it, but do you want me to go there?
Yes, I
Okay.
would love that. Yeah.
So polyamory means that you love several people. So if you're strict to the definition, it means that you're going to refer to a kind of love that we would call our romantic. But for some people, they may not be in a romantic relationship with several people. They may say that they are in sexual relationships with several people, or they are in some relationships where they are sexually engaged with other people. But polyamory, it's, I guess, it means that there is a level of engagement where there is some love, that you experience with more than one partner. But it doesn't mean that all the relationships have the same dynamic. You may say, I have several partners, but you may refer to, okay, I have someone that I live in, which you could call a nesting partner, while not being romantically involved with, but you consider that person to be your partner because they are your everyday partner, someone that you share a roof with, you do groceries together. And outside of the house, you may have a romantic partner. You don't live together, but you've got those feelings, deep intimacy, deep feelings for each other. And you may have on top of that, I don't know, a lover with whom there is a lot of electricity, sexual tension, and you may not call that person a partner, but it's another person that you have, something that is pretty intimate, I would say. The common denominator, I think, is intimacy in those relationships. But intimacy, as you know, everyone has their own definition and experience of it. Then the last thing that you mentioned was solo polyamory. It means that, imagine an individual. You may have several partners, and those people, you don't live with them. I think it's a common denominator. And none of them, you would say, none of these relationships are more important than the other. You may even consider yourself your own primary partner. Like, I am, with the person that is most important to me at this time, which is myself. And the other people that you engage with, you may call them a partner, a lover, maybe a friend with benefit, which was also something that polyamorous people would engage with, and people in open relationships as well. They are all different in nature, all these relationships that you have, and none of them is like a primary partnership. Because that primary partnership maybe you may not have found, not yet. So it's a stage of development, in your love life where that primary partner is not there yet, or it could be that primary partner is myself. So in an ethical non-monogamous relationship and in a polyamorous relationship, you may engage in relationships, in a relationship model which is called hierarchical. And so in both, dynamics is possible. So you may live with someone and be ethically non-monogamous with that nesting partner and with the other people that you have outside of the home. And you may have a relationship that you feel inside of you is more important than the others. And it could be that relationship with your nesting partner, because for you, what is the most valuable is the resources that you share. But for someone else, it could be that, okay, they may have a lot of resources that they share with the nesting partner, and they may also have a romantic relationship with the nesting partner. But for some reason, nesting partner is the word that they use to describe the relationship. And they may have someone else outside that is also a romantic partner. And maybe that relationship for them is superior because it provides, it fulfills certain needs that have a higher value than the needs that they fulfill at home with their nesting partner.
So it isn't taken for granted that the hierarchy means that the person at home, the person with whom we share.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the most important for you.
I see. Okay, yeah. It's a decision that
it's a
made.
decision, exactly. Yeah. And so ideally, it's something you would be clear about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that everyone is on the same page. You know, so that you don't meet someone and they are not aware that you are engaged in a hierarchical dynamic with someone that you are already in a relationship with. You may have a primary partner and you know that this is the relationship that is going to always receive the most resources. You need to be very clear about that, if that's important to you and that partner, to communicate that to the new people that you're going to meet so that they can manage their expectations about, you know, potential developments for the relationship between you and them.
I'm really curious about this, but I just realized that I mentioned serving you cake and then I didn't serve you. So I need to ask you something else.
Yeah.
So how do we do this? Let's do it this way.
Beautiful. I like how it matches your nail polish and your earrings. And,
would you like this one?
Yes.
So we might need the help of one.
You're good. You're good. Woo!
I can fix it, prop it up.
I like it like that.
Oh, you like it like that? Okay.
I wanted to see, to be able to see the inside. It's so beautiful.
So, I'm going to ask you a question now about that. So, is there an etiquette as to how to bring up the hierarchy part of... Because this seems something very complicated.
It is. It's complex, for sure.
Yeah.
And it can become complicated, for sure. Yeah.
Right. So one of my questions is actually about that, the beauties, the joys, and the complexity and difficulty.
Yeah.
But would it be fair to say one thing that I share with my clients who are even entertaining doing this, opening up the relationship or consensual, ethical non-monogamy, I named that this is not going to be a picnic. Would that be fair? Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah. For most people, it's not.
For most people, it's not.
No.
So, Emilie, would you feel comfortable sharing
of course.
The joys and the difficulties?
Yeah, it's my pleasure to share. Yeah.
Difficulties. If you were really talking to somebody who was like, I'm terrified of this and I want to do it. What would you...
okay. Yeah. Well, so the mind and then the body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say ethical non-monogamy is my favorite way of practicing non-monogamy, first, and foremost. What I have enjoyed, I have to say, is feeling a certain kind of freedom. It's just so wonderful, to go out and whether you are partnered or not, but that it's a part of your way of living to engage in ethical non-monogamous relationships. It's just so fun, so wonderful, to go out and know that there are possibilities of meeting people, and you don't know, you never know. You go out, you go to an art gallery, to a bookstore, you go to the supermarket, you are in the street, you get invited to a party, you travel to some new place, you're going to meet people. It's just inevitable, someone, next to you on the plane. And to feel that there are little limits, in terms of... whether you're going to talk to someone or not. What I love is, flirting, seduction, what is it really? It's just having fun. You're going to have a conversation and you want to have a good time.
Yeah.
So you want to laugh, you want to be playful, you want to be engaged, you want to learn something, whether it's through what the person reflects back to you or through what they share with you. So it's just that, feeling that you can have, that childlike, playful nature coming alive and being able to be expressed. It's just that, And then I don't know the rest of the question. Can you
Yeah,
remind
I'm
me?
going to ask you again,
Yeah.
but what I want to reflect back is
Yeah.
how much the moment you started talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
that childlike,
Yeah.
playful,
Yeah.
even sensual energy
Yeah.
really started bubbling out of you, and it was very impactful. Like I was drinking it. It was very beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, I can
Because
see.
you can have access to that for yourself, it's something that is pleasant.
Yeah, it's very exactly, very pleasant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nourishing as well.
Yeah.
So the question, so this, talking about the joys of doing it, I can see the joy of just having this curiosity of not knowing whom I may meet.
And you may not do anything else than that, and still call yourself non-monogamous or polyamorous.
That is a very, very good point. I remember for me, so, I'm in a monogamous relationship, and I've been married for 17 years. And for 3 years, my husband and I started considered opening up the relationship.
Yeah.
And I remember it was very challenging, and it had its perks as well. But there was a aha moment.
Okay.
So, and we went from, being jealous of each other. And granted, I still struggle with jealousy, and I'm going to ask you about this. But I remember my husband went from, again, those... how would you call them? Those messages that we have internalized, the person belongs to you, their energy belongs to you, and they have to be yours and yours only.
Yeah.
And then he went to work with a Somatica coach, actually. And when he came out, he was like, I'll never forget. I realized that your erotic energy doesn't belong to anybody. It's yours and yours only.
Yeah.
And this is sometimes a concept that even for my clients can be really hard to believe and trust, because we've been given a lot of messages and socialized to share that energy only with the one person. And I find it really refreshing, also because there's something that you said, which is that energy is playfulness. And it is so true. It is tapping into that childlike energy. So why would I keep it in and only for one person only?
Yeah.
It goes a little bit against nature, if you will.
Totally. Yeah.
Now, then, does that mean having sex? Does that mean no, not necessarily. But even just the act of flirting alone, why does it have to be limited to the one partner you're with, right? So so the question was, what are some of the challenges of doing this, ethical non-monogamy? I'm gonna give a bite to the cake. I hope you don't think I'm rude.
I'm going to have some as well. So some challenge is that situations are going to naturally arise. I mean, when you are engaging with others, and you don't have to actually be in a position where your partner, for instance, is outside on a date with someone else. There are lots of steps before that can totally activate you in your nervous system. So it's the emotional dysregulation, I would say, the main challenge that can arise through these situations that remind you, a lot about what you experienced as a child. Like if you have siblings, the arrival of a sibling, the rivalry, with that sibling, but also seeing your mom having so much attention and giving so much love to that other, sibling, and not as much to you, and you not having received, the language, the story, the reassurance that you needed in order to process that, change, that deep change that happens at home in the dynamic with the people that you live with, and that creates its own trauma.
Yeah.
And that resurfaces, because we're talking about intimate relationships. When you see your mother holding that baby, kissing that baby, like smelling that baby, giving so much intimacy to another human being, and that's not you receiving that. It's imprinted inside of you. But that can also be you don't have a sibling and your father is a rival to you, because it also takes, some of your mother's attention, energy away from you. So, those programs around if someone comes very close to the object of my desire, to my partner, it means that I'm going to live again the same situation that I experienced as a little girl, where we took the example of, my mother, but that can be my father. Their attention is being taken away from me, and that means I'm going to lose something. And the wound is so, deep. And I haven't had a chance to revisit that. I don't understand. It's totally, unconscious. But that arises in a non-monogamous relationship. It does. Yeah, because there are new people entering the picture, of that bubble of intimacy that you created for yourself and or with the partner. And all of a sudden, the homeostasis changes. You lose the equilibrium that you crafted, that you cultivated, and it has to be recreated. And how do you do that? Because all around you points to a model that is monogamous or a form of non-monogamous, which is cheating. So you don't have, a lot of modeling of what is healthy non-monogamy, or how to integrate all these parts of you, of, your desire, your wanting to experience yourself, in expansive ways, with intimacy with more than one people, because why not, And there is a lack of modeling and a lack of healthy modeling. Yeah. I can see it's coming, there is more interest, more literature on the topic. People are come out also more. So there is a development of this kind of dynamic.
Yeah, but it's very important what you're mentioning, which is those wounds, the wounds from childhood that are what in my line of work we would call the implicit memories getting activated. This is my next question. So I found that with my clients who are in actually ethical non-monogamy, and or even those who are considering it, there is almost like a fear of naming the hurt, for fear that could limit the freedom of their partner. And that breaks my heart, because of course you want to have freedom, and yet you don't want to be stuck in pain, and then having to hide that pain and then being resentful. So I'm wondering if that is a little bit your experience, that even within the community, a community that is very open to ethical non-monogamy, that there is a little bit of a judgment towards, and maybe it's just a self-judgment, towards feeling the pain, acknowledging the pain that we're feeling, whether it is the jealousy or the hurt.
It's common.
It's common.
It's common. It can definitely happen. You may have shame around feeling jealousy when your partner is out on a date, when deep down this is really what you want for your relationship, for yourself and your partner. And that there can be some self-judgment, and I definitely experienced that. I was noticing at some point that, hang on, I am feeling jealousy and I'm not talking about it with my partner. I'm not letting him know that actually hurts. Because I want to pass for more evolved, in my journey as someone who is polyamorous, and there are things that are hard for me. So I realized that, but unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, but I realized that I needed to speak up, and I started to speak up, and that didn't go well. And hence, my initial reservation towards sharing with my partner, because my partner had not built the capacity to receive me in that way, to receive me in my pain. It was activating his own sense of shame. I know she hurts, but I also love myself. I want to do that which we said we're going to do.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
It's hard dynamics. Yeah.
And that, I mean, obviously that happens even in a monogamous relationship where we disappoint our partners and we're not, like you mentioned, we don't have the capacity to stay with the disappointment.
Yeah.
But there's this other there could be this other built-in component of like, I'm hurting and I'm not going to mention it because like you said, I'm supposed to be a little bit more evolved than my hurt.
Yeah.
And so, for those, I would like to mention that for those of you who are out there who are dabbling with this or are in the midst of this and are feeling hurt and some, implicit memories, old wounds are resurfacing because of the jealousy, maybe because of the abandonment, which is real. Because maybe some boundaries have been crossed. I would like to name that there is help out there, and Somatica coaches like us, trauma informed practitioners. I'm personally also attachment informed, so we also have a training in attachment from our Somatica training. So if you can really lean in to practitioners that can help you address those wounds so that you don't feel crazy, so that you feel that it's okay to have that hurt coming up, and also help you navigate how to communicate that and how to self-soothe when that pain is coming up. But for you, Emilie, I want to ask you, how did you deal? And unfortunately, that time you brought it up, it didn't go well. How do you deal on your own, or now that you become a Somatica coach, do you have ways that you deal with the arise of jealousy or whatever is there?
So in some of my last partnerships, last year, I would say, there was a lot of progress for me personally, where I was able for the first time to solidly experience compersion, which is considered to be the emotion which is the opposite of jealousy.
You said compassion?
Compersion.
Compulsion.
Compersion. It's Compersion.
Compersion.
Compersion. Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah. So compersion is you being happy to see your partner happy with someone else.
Wait, say that again.
It's being happy to see your partner happy with someone else.
Wow.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's wonderful.
I mean, talk about unconditional love.
I feel that my husband got there in our relationship actually at one point, and he was a great teacher that way. Yeah. That is incredible.
Yeah, and it takes having access, to emotional regulation. I would say feeling securely attached to yourself. So having a solidly secure attachment style, and in the context of ethical non-monogamous relationship, it means being solidly anchored into your own safety. To be able. That has been my conclusion after reading about how do we access to states of not experiencing jealousy, and even going further, like the joy of your partner being happy with someone else.
Wow, and I can see the tears coming up in your eyes just even mentioning that.
Yeah. It's profound. It's profound. So
is it okay if I ask you something, because you're bringing up a very important point, so self-regulation, and I heard you mentioning embodying, and I teach self-regulation tools that have some component of mindfulness, but also staying with the body and what happens within the body. I'm assuming that that's along the lines of what you mean.
Well, what I mean is that I had learned to be in a regulated state, as my neutral. And then knowing that my partner was on a date with someone else, and noticing that I was regulated, that I was not anxious, and then imagining them having intimacy. Think about intimacy for yourself. How beautiful, hopefully, how beautiful, how fulfilling, how yummy it is. And the pleasure that it gives you, and imagining that your partner has that as well, that possibility of experiencing that the way you do for yourself. And probably it's a bit different. It could even be more intense for them. You don't know. And imagine that, so then you go a step further again. Imagine that they have access to that with you, you know, so when you are together, or maybe this is what they feel, etc. And then you see where I'm going. Imagining that that's also what happens when they are with someone else and it's not you. And so I trained myself to go into those places, you know, and to move from feeling that contraction within to feeling neutral, and then to really expand my heart and my capacity to love more. And sure, you know, there was mindfulness, there was deep presence, meditation, journaling, and also healthy modeling of that. I was fortunate to spend some time with people who were also experienced in their non-monogamous journeys, and they had experienced that.
Wow.
And they were talking about that. And that became inspiring. I thought, if they can do it, I can too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could.
And it wasn't by overriding your own feelings. It's interesting because you were just
because
staying with the
suppressing,
contraction.
repressing is a technique that people are going to use. I used that as well. Yeah. Or distracting yourself. But for me, it was not working very well.
It was not working, yeah.
I have to mention there was something else also for me as an exercise that helped me to go to that place, which is I was wondering, why is it that I experience so much jealousy towards a partner for certain things that they do, you know, like with another partner, like, I don't know, a partner would say, well, I'm going to be out for lunch with my partner, so the other partner, their other partner. But something that helped me was, okay, I'm imagining my partner with the other partner, and I hurt, I feel the contraction, but when my best friend does something, you know, I don't know, with their husband or with their other friend, I don't experience that contraction. But I was thinking, I'm aware that some people do experience jealousy in their friendship. And I think I'm probably fortunate that it's not something that is a dominant energy in my friendships. And so I was able to think about how wonderful it is for me to imagine, my best friend going on vacation with her husband or her other partner, and I don't experience jealousy. So probably there is something that I can do to, you know, import that feeling into my heart, into my soul when I think about my partner.
I love this.
That worked. Yeah.
I love this. It's something it's interesting again, because it's something similar that I do when I work with attachment in my sessions. And I've learned it from, I trained with Diane Paul Heller. But it is like planting the flags when the clients talk, finding the places of secure attachment.
Yeah.
And reminding the client that that is there. We all have it within ourselves.
I love that approach.
Yeah. And it's like, this is your secure attachment.
Yeah.
And so in a way, that's what you were doing for yourself.
Yeah.
You were finding the places where your attachment is actually secure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then in a way, you were like, what would my life be like if I could experience more of that. Expand
there is the curiosity, because you need to have the curiosity. You know, it makes me think also what your example, I know it's not a question you necessarily ask, but what is it that people can imagine in order to understand that some people can be drawn to polyamory or to non-monogamy, because some people don't understand. You know, or say, I wouldn't be capable of loving more than one partner. And to those people, I generally respond that we all have the capacity to learn more, to love more than one person, because we have a mother, we have a father, we have siblings, cousins, friends, you know, writers, philosophers that we love. And so we have the capacity to love. It's just different dynamics. Then in general, those other partners, we talked about that earlier. There is a degree of intimacy there. So that can be a more engaged kind of way of being with someone than being with a platonic friend. And not everyone has the inbuilt capacity of being in that much intimacy. And they maybe want to be in just one, what they call intimate relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. That capacity is within us. I agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah.